name's Kalen. I'm 23 years old, and I'm just going to share my story, a little bit of how I've actually come through and past mental illness. As I've stated, I have an anxiety disorder. And for those of you who don't know much about anxiety, there's 6 categories, main categories of anxiety. There's generalized anxiety, there's phobias, there's post-traumatic stress, there's social, there's panic, and then there's obsessive compulsive disorder. So those are the 6 categories, right? Usually a lot of them are combined. And there's also a lot of other types, you know what I mean? Those are just the 6 general ones that you'll usually be diagnosed with. And I was diagnosed between a mix of 2, so generalized and panic disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder is probably the most common, and it's just general anxiety about a bunch of different range of things. So whether it be life stressors, whether it be about your future, whether it be about living situations, your children, stuff like that. Panic anxiety disorder is there's more manifestations of symptoms, like panic attacks. Do you know, like, when you go to school and you see people with panic attacks? That's panic disorder, right? Stress gets to them and they just start having a type of panic or anxiety attack. So that's that. So I struggle with expression of emotion and understanding the emotions that I feel at a specific given time. I think the first time I really realized it, the first time I realized like it's getting bad at least, I was dating a girl in the past. Our relationship just wasn't a functional relationship. And I couldn't express how I felt about it. I couldn't tell her how I felt about her or about our relationship I just couldn't express it, you know what I mean? It was just bad.
So how would you express it?
I would get angry a lot, you know what I mean? Because I'm not sure if you guys know, but rage is a huge
side effect?
Shouldn't even say a side effect, but it's highly common in people. So people have anxiety, it's common to have rage issues as well. So I was obviously one of those people. I was pretty bad with that. Anxiety, everyone feels anxious at times. You know what I mean? Everyone has that, right? So it's pretty normal growing up to feel anxious at times, right? But it started to get a little bit more than normal for me in 2011. I was going through a lot of stress in my life. What are we now, 2015? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going through a lot of stress in my life. With school, I didn't know what I wanted to do in the future as a career. I had not a clue. But that's normal too, right? Like a lot of teenagers don't, you know what I mean? But most of them, they find their way or they get help or whatever it is, right? But I couldn't cope with it. I was struggling with it, and then I was going through a tough time with some family issues. I'm not going to get into this, if that's okay with you guys. I was heavily into sports, right? That's another, as positive as it is to be active in sports, it's also it's a stressor, it's a life stressor, right? So that was that. And then I always worked, because I was an independent person from a young age, so I wanted to get my own money, do my own stuff, right? So that's when the symptoms first started to come into play. So around 2011, so that's about 4 years ago, maybe even a little bit before that. They started last year of high school. What year is that? Last year of high school?
2010.
2010?
5 years ago.
So yeah, about 2000. I should say 2010, 2009 even. I would go as far as say 2009 is when they first started. Right? They started getting bad my first year of college. You know what I mean? Not even. The summer going into grade 12. Coming out of grade 12, sorry. So the summer going into my first year of university, that's where I remember it was bad. Things were real bad. It was just usually times of highs and lows. My parents thought I was bipolar at one point because I was always up and down, right? It eventually started getting worse, and like I said, rage came into play. And I would get very frustrated at stuff, and I would, I punched holes in countless walls. I got help before I ended up hurting anybody, which is good. Physically, at least. I've never hurt anybody physically, but emotionally, I did a lot of damage, you know what I mean? To a lot of people I cared about. You know what I mean? Not purposely, well, I shouldn't say it's not purposely, but it's just hard to control. You get past the point of frustration where you just don't know, I can't express myself, I can't tell you how I feel, I don't even know how I feel myself, you know what I mean? I can't put it into words, my brain just doesn't understand what my heart is currently feeling. So it was tough, right? And then eventually I was I need to find another way. Alcohol made it really bad. I'm not gonna lie, alcohol made my anxiety 20 times worse. And I drank anyways. But it would make it 20 times worse. I remember I used to be like, I couldn't be alone in public. Couldn't do it, right? If I was alone in public, I would start to panic. I'd be like, oh my god, like everyone's leaving me, like where'd everybody go? And I used to cry a lot in the clubs, actually, when we used to go. I couldn't handle it. It was too much like stimulation, you know what I mean? And like I was so anxious, there's so many people moving around, there's alcohol involved, obviously, you know what I mean? And made me way too anxious. So I stopped that for a while, that club scene.
Did you ever have private outbreaks when nobody's around?
I did. Private outbreaks were actually the worst of my symptoms. And it's hard to talk about. It's hard to talk about. But I did some damage to like myself physically, you know. Because I needed a release, right? And it started off small things like, and the thing is, people think it's only positive, only when you're angry, only when you're mad. But no, it's like all extreme emotions, right? I get super excited, and I wouldn't know how to deal with it. So what I used to do, and it really helped me like calm my nerves, I would squeeze my thigh. Like I'd take my hand around my thigh and I would squeeze it like really, really hard. And that would just help me calm my nerves, right? Something like that. Or I'd bite my lip, which was the worst, because I'd end up having bruised ass lips. And my lips would be like really, really huge. But that kind of became not enough for some, I don't know. And it kept progressing, and I ended up like punching my legs was a big one. Or
For what emotion?
angry, sad, it depended. Like if I was feeling really, really, like if I was, when I felt really, really angry, that's usually when I hit myself the most, right? But then it started getting bad because I started like actually punching myself in the face, and like,
Seriously?
yeah, man, started punching myself in the face. It's pretty bad. Punching my knees, like that was the two big ones I think. Hitting myself in the head, in the face, and in my knees. I remember one time I hit myself. It was just like I blanked. I blanked. I just happened. I couldn't control myself, right? I remember I hit my knee like, I think it was like 7 or 8 times in a row. I don't know. It was a lot of times, and I couldn't walk for like 2 hours. I couldn't move my leg. It was so bad, and I gave myself some pretty nasty black eyes. And yeah, I remember what drove me to get help, and it even thinking about it to this day almost brings me to tears. It was the most painful thing I've ever heard in my life. I was angry, and my sister came to me in my room after I calmed down. She goes like, Kalen, like I'm scared of you.
Your sister told you that?
Yeah, she's like, I'm scared of you. Like that actually hurt. Like weighs on my heart to this day, man. So I try not to get angry in front of my sister because I don't want her to see that, right? Like she's a younger sister, and I don't want her to see that. It's not easy, right? I remember the day that I went the day after to the doctor. He told me about these meds, lorazepam, I don't know, some meds, I forget what they were called. And he's like, if you know, this is meds that'll help with your anxiety, right? They're antidepressants and stuff like that, right? And I was like, is there any alternatives? He's like, this is the best way, the most effective method, right? I didn't want to depend on meds, you know what I mean? Like, so I told him, I was like, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna find another way. So I looked into it, and there was 3 main methods that I ended up finding that I used and that were effective to this day. Number 1 was exercise. I exercise all the time. I started hitting the gym, and it helped with the signs of rage because it helped me let out some aggression. And you know, I ended up loving it. The gym, it's a great place to be, you know what I mean? Social place to be, and it's proven that exercise helps, you know, decrease depression, anxiety, a lot of things, a lot of mental health illnesses, right? So that was the biggest one, I think. And then the other 2 were therapy and life counseling. I put those together, as well as meditation. My therapist, who is the greatest, I love him to death, really helped me get through a lot. I was so close-minded to therapy at first because I thought therapy, you know, it's for crazy people, you know what I mean? I was so wrong, and I feel even guilty for even thinking that because therapy worked. Therapy really, really worked, you know? I can confidently say to this day, he's the one who helped me kind of organize how I feel. Because I mean, I still suffer from anxiety. It's never going to go away. But at least now I'm more equipped to deal with it and to cope. It's a better coping method, right? So he helps me counsel me. He helped counsel me through life as well. And the best part about it is he never told me what I should do. He made me say out loud what I should do. Because when you say things out loud, you really understand them better. You hear them better, right? So he made me see. He made me think and speak aloud what I think I should do or what's bugging me. Got to the root of my problems. Talked about them. While we're on the subject of therapy, I actually want to say, be open-minded to it. Like, if you're someone watching this video right now and you're looking for alternative methods of help and you're going to see a therapist, just be open, you know what I mean? And like most therapists probably will say, they'll give you your first session just to get to know you. And by the end of the session, they'll usually ask, like, do you feel comfortable sharing with me? And then it's up to you, you know what I mean? Like, yes or no. There's thousands of therapists out there. I'm sure you can find one that's comfortable for you. It might not be the first one you try. It might not be the first 5. Might not be the first 10. Who knows? You know. And if you're not sure if you feel comfortable, book another session. You know what I mean? Tell them, like, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with you yet. I like to book one more session, and you know. And after the second session, if you're still not sure, then it's probably a no. Go find somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, there is help. I actually learned to meditate through my counselor as well, through a series of breathing patterns. They're different for everybody. They work differently for everybody. It's just you have to find the breathing patterns that work for you. Which I'm sure you can even find methods online or, you know, go to yoga or something like that to help find that. But I found it through my counselor. And now when I feel anxious, I almost do them automatically. Like you could I know, like, I'm consciously know I'm doing it, but it just calms me. 100% of the people I've told were supportive. Like, bro, it's okay. Like, you know, if you need help dealing with it, like, I'll help you, right? I'm doing a pretty good job keeping it under control. I mean, I still got a long ways to go, and it's a journey, right? Dealing with it's a journey. There's no destination. It's just a continuous journey.
Good.
If I can help, you know, a handful of people out there, or just even inform people who didn't know about this kind of stuff before, that's mission accomplished, you know what I mean? I feel it's something that everyone needs to know. Everyone needs to know about mental health. There's such a stigma around it that I think it needs to be diffused. And I think everyone knows someone who has a mental illness, right? Whether it be a friend, family member, someone on TV, it doesn't matter. Like, everyone knows someone, and it affects everybody. Every single person on this planet is affected by mental illness. You might not know it, but you're impacted. So I feel if everyone gains knowledge on the topic, it'll help, like, dissolve the stigma, right? And help people understand what other people are going through, right? I'm pretty damn happy with everything I've come, you know what I mean? I don't mind bragging about the success I've, you know, come and made for myself, because it's true, man. I worked hard to be where I am, so, and I'll continue working hard to be where I am in the future, so that's me. That's my story.